Hey guys, it's Megan. How are we doing today? Today we have some really awesome projects here that I got with this 10-in-1 teaching lab. And so I'm going to teach you a few of these things today. First project is rainbow cocktail. So you'll be needing green food coloring, a dropper, small measuring cup, a larger measuring cup or beaker, and a wooden stick, a tablespoon cooking oil, honey, water, and a cup. So first things first, we're gonna grab the beaker here, and we're going to add 50 milliliters of honey in the beaker. And here it specifies to make sure you don't get any on the walls. So there's that. Um, Today we have agave, so you can also use that. That's an alternative that works. So we're gonna use 50 milliliters of honey, and in this case agave. So make sure that when you're looking at it, it's at eye level when you're measuring, because if it's lower than eye level, it will look like you don't have enough. If you put it above eye level, it'll look like you have too much. So make sure you have your eyes at eye level of the cup. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna take a cup, and then we're gonna add that in. All right. While this drips out, I'm gonna read here. Add the same amount of oil to the beaker, which is again 50 milliliters. And then the oil should be about the same amount as this. All right. Struggled a bit to open that, but you know, it's cool. All right, so now we're gonna pour 50 milliliters of this cooking oil, and then here we're gonna pour that into this cup. Oop. There you go. Now we're going to add 50 milliliters of water in a different cup. So we're gonna measure it in this little cup and then add it to this one. So I'm gonna make sure that you get up to the 50 milliliter mark. And then add that there. All right, now using your measuring cup, add that in, use the dropper to add a few drops of green food coloring, and then mix it with mixing sticks. So right here, I've got my green food coloring. So make sure you guys can see what I'm doing and the experiment at the same time. So I'm shaking out my green food coloring. Okay. So I'm gonna also grab my mixing stick here. And then I'm gonna take this and add like, I don't know, 3 drops. Okay. A little bit more. And I'm gonna grab my mixing stick and just mix that up. So we're just gonna wait for that green food coloring to settle down in there. This is looking really cool so far. mixing that. Mixing that.
You want us to come again? Come on, come here. No, mommy's computer. We're working on mommy's computer, so we can't touch it. They can't be here. Come on. I'll go with you. Come on, let's go to your room. Gotta put stuff away. I will play.
So you've got this. We just gotta wait for it to settle. All right, so we're gonna put this to the side and let it settle down. And then we're gonna come back to it later. And meanwhile, I'm gonna move on to the next project so that we don't just stay here bored, you know? All right, so next, I'm gonna, sorry about the phone ringing. Next, we're gonna do crystal creations. So you need pipe cleaners, a wooden stick, yarn, a large measuring cup, gloves if you want, sea salts, scissors, wire, 3 cups, and a pencil. All right, warning, do not drink this or eat this. None of these projects should be drank or eaten. Um, first you grab one of the pipe cleaners and shape it into a heart. All right, I like this already. Okay, I think mine's gonna look more like a pretzel, but that's fine. Okay. I think I did the heart pretty well. Kind of proud of that. But next, we're going to cut a piece of the yarn and loop it through the hearts. Tie the ends together with knots and able to hang it up later once the experiment is finished. All right. So just gonna pass this through here and tie this there so I can hang it up later like that. All right, next, use a pen to hang the heart shape pipe cleaner and place it in a cup. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a pencil here. Sure, that's place that there. I'm gonna grab a cup. I'm gonna place this right in here, like this. Okay, now use a small measuring cup to add 25 milliliters of salt and pour it into the beaker. All right, so we're gonna take 25 milliliters of salt here. I'm just gonna make sure that's open first. Okay. All right, so here's my salt and pour it into the beaker, then add hot tap water until the 50 milliliter mark. Then add a few drops of food coloring, mix it with a stick, and pour the solution in the cup with the heart. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my hot water right here. And then just that there, mix it up. Mixing the salt and hot water here. I don't think I had enough, so just got a couple more grains. Keep mixing, just keep mixing. All right. Once that's mixed, I'm gonna take this and pour it into this cup. Okay, because I'm using a big cup, I'm just gonna do this a couple times to actually reach the heart. So I'm gonna double that and put this up to 50. Then I'm gonna take my hot water and pour it up to the 100 mark. And mix that up. You gotta be patient here because this is gonna take a little while to mix since there's a lot of salt. Right. Now, just gonna pour this in. And make sure you mix it well, but that doesn't happen. I put just a bit more hot water and grab this stick and mix it up. Now it's not completely covering the heart, so I'm gonna do it just one more time. All right, then mix this. Okay, so just a tad more. Take a few more grains. And then just a little more. And pour that. Mix it up a bit more. And then, let's see, the salt will dissolve in the water. Once the water evaporates, the salt molecules will stay on the heart and you have a crystal heart. So that's really cool. So I'm gonna leave that to the side to give it some time. And then let's move on to the next project. The next project is called saliva chemical reaction. So for this, it sounds really cool. For this, you need corn flour or potato flour or starch, a teaspoon, water, a test tube rack, which I have right here, a dropper, gloves, 2 test tubes with a lid, iodine, which you need salt for this, and then protective goggles. So I'm just gonna grab my little rack. Okay, that I need to fix up a bit here. Okay. I'm gonna fold this here. Hopefully that will make it stand. Definitely should. And then, let's see. Okay. So, here you go. Now we're gonna grab our little test tubes. Here. These are test tubes. Then, all right, first you fill the test tube halfway with water and place it in a test tube rack. So, we're gonna take water. Fill up about halfway. Oh, that's a lot more than halfway. Okay. Okay, just a little bit less. Here you go. Okay, so I fill that up about halfway, and I'm gonna close this to make sure it doesn't spill. Just put that right there for a second. Okay, grab another tube and put some of your saliva inside. Wow. Okay. So you guys want to make sure you're not sharing this. Place it in the test tube rack as well. Okay. And you have to make sure that the saliva, you have to have just as much saliva in here as you have water in there. So you need to fill up half of this with saliva. Okay, so all right, so my assistant over there is doing that part, and I'm gonna continue to read this to you guys. So once you fill the saliva up halfway, you wanna add this to your rack. Then add a teaspoon of corn flour to each test tube. Wow, this sounds very interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna grab my teaspoon and take this potato starch here because you can use this too. You can use corn flour, potato starch. It's all pretty much the same thing. So, thank you. So I'm gonna grab this. And then I'm just gonna add this to this tube here. Oh, all right, so you want to be careful not to make a mess. Like I just did a little bit, but that's fine. So you want to add that in. Just add this here. Now, next we're going to we're going to cover this back up. And we're going to shake it really well. This is water and cornstarch too. So want to make sure it's really thoroughly mixed. Okay. So there's one water and cornstarch. And then we're going to take the one with the saliva and the cornstarch and repeat the same steps with this corn flour. Okay, so now we're going to take some cornstarch. After we finish filling that up, you need a lot of saliva for this project. Jesus. Then we're gonna take the dropper and add 3 drops of iodine. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of the salt and pour just a tad in. Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of salt here. So we got salt there. And just mix that up again. All right. Make sure it's dissolved in there. So I'm gonna add this back into here. Next, I'm gonna take this teaspoon of flour here and this will be the same amount as the other two. All right, so I've got half the tube filled up with saliva here. And then I'm gonna take my tube and add this cornstarch to it. All right, so we've got that there. Next, I'm gonna cover this up and I'm gonna shake it up. Okay, this will take longer to shake up. Doesn't react the same as water. Okay. Gonna add a little bit of the salt here. Like the other one. And keep shaking. I'll my assistant shake that for me while I do my next. I get started on the next project to show you because it's gonna take a little time too. Okay. Then there's the next one, which is hand wash experiments. This is gonna be cool. I'm gonna grab a petri dish here. This is a petri dish. So it's made for growing bacteria and working bacteria. And we're gonna take this. We're going to take 100 milliliters of water. So I'm gonna grab my water right here. And then first you wanna rinse this out. So I'm just gonna put this here and then just pour it into this little bowl. I'm gonna grab 100 milliliters of water. And I'm gonna pour it into this petri dish. Okay. Can only take half, so we're gonna leave that there. All right, I've got this, it's all mixed up, so we're gonna leave this to sit there for about half an hour. Move this out of the way. All right, I'm gonna take this petri dish with my water. I'm going to take pepper, sprinkle that onto the water. This is called the hand wash experiments. And I really like this because, it teaches you about washing your hands. So the pepper represents bacteria. And just gonna put a little bit more. And now I'm gonna grab some soap, some dish soap. So you're gonna,
I like my work from probably somewhere on the floor with it.
all right, so you're gonna dip your finger in this pepper wire and you see nothing happens. And then you're gonna grab some soap and put on your finger. And when you put in the pepper, kind of like goes away. So that is really awesome. I'm gonna add pepper here and mix that around in the water to make sure it's everywhere. This is, I think, my favorite experiment. It's awesome. All right, so the pepper's in the water, and now I put my finger in with soap, and hold on, I just did it. I think I need to grab a new bowl. I don't think it works second time with the same bowl, so I'm just gonna grab a second bowl and try it again because that was so cool. All right, so great. So tomorrow, all right. So thank you. I'm gonna grab this bowl here. I'm gonna put water. Make sure it covers the full bottom of the plate or bowl that you're using. Now grab some pepper. sprinkle what? Sprinkling. I'm just gonna take some in here and sprinkle it around. That'll be faster. I get as much in there as I can because the more the better. So, all right, now it's just a bowl or plate with water and pepper. This is really awesome. So you're gonna take some soap and put on your finger and just rub that around your finger. Put a little bit more. All right, so like I said before, the pepper represents bacteria. So when you take a finger of no soap and you just touch it, nothing happens. But then, if you want the bacteria to go away, you use soap. And it goes away. That is awesome. Wow. Cool. So there's that project that I think I'm going to keep doing after class because that's just too cool. All right, so moving on to the next project. You see, this is why you use soap, guys. I'm gonna move this over and I'm going to do the next project with you guys. All right, a lemon fueled rocket. That sounds cool too. So you're gonna need a small measuring cup, which I have right here. Small measuring cup, a lid for small measuring cup. So I have that too. Optionals, gloves, and goggles. Then you need sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. Then you need lemon juice, teaspoon, and some tissues. So again, warning, do not eat this, do not drink this, throw away immediately after. So grab a small measuring cup, and then this will be your rocket. So add 10 milliliters of lemon juice inside. So I'm gonna take my lemon right here. Take off the sticker. The lemon. I'll just put on my rocket full of decorations. Why not? Then you the lemon, and I'm gonna use this to get the juice out, or drop it. That works too. All right, I'm gonna press this down. All right, let's see if I have enough juice because I only need 10 milliliters, and that is like basically nothing. It's yeah, I have 10 milliliters here. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And then I'm gonna take my small measuring cup and just pour this in to the 10 milliliter mark. Perfect, exactly 10 milliliters. Awesome. So then have your grown-up have your grown-up cut a piece of tissue to cover the top of the measuring cup. So just gonna, doesn't say exactly how big to make it, so I'm just going to there you go. Now put the lid on the rockets. So this. Oh, first add a teaspoon of baking powder. All right, I'm gonna grab a spoon here. So once you get that teaspoon, you put a teaspoon of baking soda into here. And then you put the lid on the rockets. And then it should launch. Move this over to the side. Okay. So I've got this teaspoon of baking soda. I'm gonna pour this in. And it's foaming up. Okay. All right, I think I misread that instruction. And that's fine, it happens, and we're gonna do it again. But this is really cool to watch, so just gonna put it out here. Rinse it out, and redo that real quick. In science, there's always gonna be some redo of something at times. That's totally fine. So, first thing we gotta do is get some lemon juice. I'll move these out of the way here. Thank you. So I'm milking the lemon, as I like to call it. Right. Okay, so that's done. I'm gonna wipe my hands here. You don't want to make a mess. Now I'm gonna move this over to the side here. And I'm gonna make it up to 10 milliliters. So I'm gonna slowly and carefully pour that in. Up to the 10 mark. There you go. All right, so I'm gonna put that down here. Right. Gotta get this out of my way. Grab a paper towel. And cover it up. Put that there. All right, next it says carefully add a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate onto the tissue. All right, that's what I did wrong. Grabbing this. Okay. So I'm just gonna add that onto here. Sorry for my dog's sounds in the back, guys. Okay, now place the lid on the rockets and make sure it's properly closed. Do not let the sodium bicarbonate make contact with the lemon juice during this step. All right. So I'm just gonna have that right here. Gotta find the lid. Where did I put the lid? There you go, there's the lid. Okay, now I need to really push that down here. Now, ready to launch, count to 3 and turn the rocket. Small measuring cup with lemon juice, meaning this, upside down, and place it on a flat surface. All right, so let's move over to the floor here. Moving you guys over to here. All right, so, oh boy. You guys can see it. And then just okay, should launch. So I don't know if it's okay. It did a little pop. That works too. Okay, so it didn't launch, but it made a little pop, and that was still cool. So it's just all right. That was okay. So that's So what science is, that's experimenting. Sometimes it doesn't do what it says it will, and that's fine. All right, so next we're going to move back to, wait, am I missing one thing? Need to double check, make sure I've done every project on the list today. Oh, this one is so cool. I'm missing this one awesome experiments. Okay, so we need black cardboards. Let's see. Need black cardboard. Which I have. Okay. So move this out of the way. Just gonna move this full mat out of the way here. And then I'm going to take this black cardboard, a paintbrush right here. All right, a Petri dish that I just used and need to rinse out. Now make sure the Petri dish is clean before moving on to the next project. Then you need corn flour, which you can also use potato starch for. And then clear tape, which is right here. Thank you. So I'm gonna dry out the Petri dish. Okay, now step one, take one of your thumbs through the sides of your nose and forehead, then press your thumb on the black card like a stamp. Okay, so by that they mean take your thumb and just swipe it like Rafiki in the Lion King, you know, and then just once you've done that, you want to push down on the black paper. All right, so it's got my fingerprint there. Step two, pour some potato starch or corn flour or whatever you have onto the Petri dish, and then dip your paintbrush in it. Okay, so take our Petri dish. I'm gonna put my cornstarch in it, just a bit. Okay, that works too. And then just kind of put that right back in there. Now my hands are all white. That's cool. You know what I like to say is the messier it is when you're doing science experiments, that means the funnier it was. So just gonna shake that up, you know, flatten it out, make it equal. I'm gonna take my paintbrush here. All right, now put the excess. All right, now I'm going to softly use the brush to cover the area where you put your fingerprints on the paper, and we're gonna do that with the corn flour. Okay. We're just gonna pass that over. All right, it's not showing the fingerprints like it said. Okay, so that experiment is not, it does not work like it says, and that's totally fine. So, all right, so I'll try to find a better way to do that project, and then we'll make a class just about that, about which products are best to use for that and how to make it appear the best. So I hope to see you guys for that class. Next, we're going to come back to this. It says to wait until the wire is evaporated. So that means that it's going to take a while. So right now it's just wet. I'm going to leave it back in here and put here where it can have the sun on it and make the water evaporate. And then we're going to revisit this, which was the, we'll check on that art project next class. And this is the rainbow cocktail. So we've gone back to this, and this is what it's looking like right now. And then you'll see how each substance kind of creates its own layer here. None of these liquids or substances will mix with each other for real. So that's pretty cool. See what happens if I touch it? Just nothing. If I mix it, still doesn't mix. So that one's really awesome. Water and oil never mix, so that's a good way to teach that to your children. So that's all I've got for today, guys. But I'll use these projects to make cooler and funner classes, and I'll make a really cool class on fingerprints. So I hope to see you guys next class. Have a great day.